What's the deal, people? What is good? Yep, Sifu Quasi in the building. I'm here. It is I. It's been a minute. Hope everybody's well. It was definitely time to get back on here live. We've been doing lives for a couple, for a little bit now. But I really wanted to get in here super live and direct. Nothing pre-recorded. We're not Memorex. We are absolutely live in the building. So I'm going to let people get in here. I'm going to let people, give us a couple seconds here so people can get in the chat, and I can talk to some people. All right. So hope everyone's well. Thank you all for checking in tonight. This is not going to be a super long live. I wanted to get on here and just talk to people. And first of all, first of all, welcome so many people in here. I have a lot of new subscribers in the last 2 months. We've grown a whole lot based on a couple videos that people have been digging, which is great. Welcome everybody, of course, to my diehards and to my new people. Kung Fu Chronicles, I am Sifu Quasi. If you didn't know, now you do know. And going live, I usually try to do this every weekend. But the last couple weekends, last week was a holiday weekend, so I wasn't on live. But either it will be a recorded video, I'll go on live, or I'll go directly live. And I always prefer to go directly live with you guys, so I can reach out and touch the people and talk and say what I want to say, and you guys can connect with me. So check in on the chat. Let me know who's here. I will, of course, go through your questions, and if you got something for me, then I will pop you up later during the stream, and we'll talk, and I'll address your questions. Okay, I've got a few things I wanted to specifically talk about tonight, though, because so much is going on with the channel. It's been a great year for the channel. We've grown exponentially, thanks to all of you, my Kung Fu Chronicles family, my community. I'm really been proud of these last 4+ years to been growing this community, the community the way we have. I am a martial artist first and foremost, an instructor, and just lover, specifically of the arts, and that includes everything from contemporary to traditional and all that in between. So that being said, new things on the channel. Just dropped a video today. Mr. Brettchan, if you're not familiar, he is stunt coordinator, producer extraordinaire. This guy has done shows like Marco Polo. He's done Kung Fu, not the original Dave Carradine, but the new rendition when it dropped on the CW a few years ago. Okay, he's been involved with stuff like Skyscraper with Dwayne Johnson, and of course, most important, Marco Polo, old school Netflix show that I used to watch. And let me know in the chat if you guys have watched shows like this. But the main thing, this guy is stunt choreographer, not producer, stunt choreographer, one of the directors of one of my favorite all-time shows. And you guys already know this, people that have been rolling with me for a while. Drum roll if I could, but don't think I have the sound effect right this minute. Anyway, Warrior. Yes, Netflix is on Netflix now. Started on Cinemax, then it went to HBO Max. Started on Cinemax, then it went to HBO Max, and then eventually found its way to Netflix. Warrior, it's the series. This is the guy who's really behind a lot of those amazing fights on the show. So I'm gonna intro him now just by playing a couple clips. The interview dropped today on the channel. I will leave the link down below so you guys can check that out at your leisure. And please do comment. Let me know. I'm giving you guys all of my socials down below so you can check in with me if you don't want to check in the chat. All right.
The Taekwondo, especially coming out in the 80s, I mean, Taekwondo is sweeping the nation all around the world. Like, the Olympics. It was just like there was a Taekwondo school in every corner of the street at that point. And karate was kind of going down a little bit in the street, but it didn't matter because that was my main art.
Right.
But there was something to say for the chambering of Taekwondo. I mean, Taekwondo chambering is,
it's different. I mean, some of those kicks are, when you pull them off, they're beautiful to watch. And yeah, a high level Taekwondo guy is, it's the reason why it's in the Olympics, right? So it's, yeah.
Well, this guy, Jisuk Lee, who he's worked on Warrior with me, and I've taken him to Halo, taken him to different shows. You saw Warrior season 2, episode 6.
The tournament episode, yes.
There was one Korean guy in there.
Okay.
That does a gainer with a landing with a side kick to the guy's throat.
Right. Yeah. So Mr. brettchan, stunt coordinator, producer, actor, so many credits to his name. We talked a bit, part 1 and 2 up on the channel now. Part 2 just dropped today. Part 1, this is part of what I'm showing you. We talked about his martial arts career, his humble beginnings, and then how he transitioned over from just the straight up martial arts bouncing world. He went to become a bouncer for a little while, and then went on to become a stuntman in the industry. So we talked about that and all of that great stuff. And then part 2, which I dropped today, we got more into Warrior, the actual show that you guys know that I love so much. So we started talking about him and what he's been doing since Warrior, but Warrior season 3, it's been a year plus now, because I think that dropped 2023. I know it dropped last year early. So we've already been like a year out from that series drop. It's kind of like Yellowstone, right? If you are my Yellowstone fans, people have been watching that. It's like season whatever it is we're up to now, and then we took this long hiatus. So the same things happened with Warrior from season 2, you'll know, to season 3 when they changed networks, went from Cinemax and then took a break because they changed networks and it was actually canceled. Then Max, now Max, was formerly HBO Max, picked the show up. So anyway, we talked specifically about the episode that brettchan directed, which was episode 6 of season 3. And I'm going to play that a little bit. I got a little piece of that here.
Season 2 and season 3, we were nominated. Yeah, it was 2. I mean, it's dope. I mean, it's a nice part
in the episode. And of course, I lose the place here, so bear with me for a second as I find my placing here. Just give me a second, because I have this whole video up and I don't. Okay, so let's see. In the episode, it has one episode 3 once again, so you got to direct. Okay, so one more time, episode 6 of season 3. All right, this is the one that brettchan directed, and this is a Western. It's called A Soft Heart Won't Do You No Favors. Okay, so he directed this episode. His stunt team guy, or his second in command, Johnny Yang, did a lot of the filming as well. So you're going to see the recap here really quickly. Really amazing episode, by the way. So spoilers for people that don't want to be spoiled. If you're watching Warrior and you haven't gotten up to season 3 yet, you may want to just come back in about 40 seconds. All right, here we go. Shannon Lee played the mom. No pressure. No pressure. And then this is like Father June's whole thing, where he comes in and he's the badass in that, right? Because he has his point where he gets in and they start tearing up the town. I'll skip ahead just a little bit. Yes, go ahead.
So Johnny Yang was my stunt coordinator for my episode. So this sequence coming up right here is a oneer that he's divided.
So by oneer, they kind of mean just like a one-shot deal in filmmaking. They do what seems to be a one shot. And but I say what seems to me because sometimes it's actually a real one shot where you've just got one camera and it moves around. And sometimes there are different cameras and they'll edit to make it seem like it's one shot. But in this case, he's saying it's a oneer. It's a real one shot deal. Yeah. Oh, so nice.
So this is all a oneer following here. You know, we have guys underneath the camera running with mats, and the guys that fall down. This is there. There's mats underneath there. As the camera sits up, hands off, guys are off the mats. There's also a oneer.
So cool. Yeah.
And the oneer ends when Ethan Young Jr. does the tackle. The cowboy switch there.
Yeah, this is all just cool. It's just like the fluid motion. You're going
right here, yeah. Okay, and that's the double. Up, back facing again.
Right.
There you go.
But it's seamless, man. It's seamless. It's like you really have to be really watching to not know it's not a one shot. But it's beautiful, man. Like some of the So up to that point, that's what I was saying in the interview. That was the one shot, and then obviously you edit over to Assam. So Andrew Koji, who plays the main character Assam, now he's inside this place where they're facing these German criminals.
Fight choreography was so cool, and
Thank you.
some of the best fight choreography in a show I'd seen in a while. And then just the quality of actors. I mean, I know Koji had some martial arts background, Joe Taslim as well.
Koji has a lot of martial arts background. He used to be a tricker back in the day.
I did not know Andrew Koji was a tricker back in the day. So props to brettchan for dropping that bomb on me. So trickers, for people that don't know, they're guys that really do the high level stunts on top of martial arts. So usually they have Taekwondo backgrounds, are really good at kicking, but they add the acrobatics to that. I actually tried, I should say, I was going to say I did. I tried to do tricking like a few years ago when I first got back to California. I took a class for about a year plus where we did tricking, learning how to do all these fancy kicks incorporated with the acrobatics. Really good class, really pushed my limits. I had a great time doing it. But honestly, I wanted something more grounded, as much as I love doing that. If it was, and I'll say this, if I was trying to pursue a career in tricking, not even tricking, a career in stunt work, i.e. acting, action films sort of thing, I would have kept going with the tricking, because a lot of the things they'll teach you very beneficial for that, for that scene, for that area of work. It's really, really challenging stuff. And for me, I'm getting up there in age now, so it was a lot of fun. I have a little bit of gymnastics in my background, so I was able to acclimate okay. But there were some challenging kicks where I was like, wow. And not having a Taekwondo background, a more traditional Kung Fu background, it was a little challenging for me. But anyway, I say that to say it was good. Anyway, let's continue. That's what it was. Yeah.
So I'd send him to TKDD in Korea for a month before he comes to South Africa. And then in South Africa, I have a training camp for him there of different things. Season 2, that's what he did, and season 3. And Joe Taslim is a judokai. I think he's third Dan. He's like national level.
Yeah, then from there we get into deep about the rest of the cast members from Warrior. So again, if you are interested in this, and this is something that wets your whistle, or something that you're really into, by all means, go ahead, and I'll drop the links below so you can check out both part 1 and part 2 of my interview. Had a really, really good time talking to Mr. brettchan. The guy is such a talented guy, man. He's been involved with so many cool shows from both today and even back in the day. Shared a lot. When you go through his history, there's a whole lot of meat on the bone. I think you guys will really enjoy that. And let me know in the comments too, if you guys have checked out the video, if you're planning to, if these are things that are up your alley. Because what I also want to do is get a feel for what you as my audience or family community really like, what you don't like, what you're into versus what you're not into. So of course I can create more content for you guys. All right. Now, more parts of the interview, you can check this out for yourself. I don't want this live to be all about that, but I am going to bring up one thing that was so exciting when I did it, and I have to do this because this is one of the main, well, I want to say one of the main reasons, but it was a highlight to doing this interview. I had the opportunity to talk to Brett about my favorite fight scene of all time in Warrior, which is well, I'll label it like this for the super fans first, for when you want to nerd out with me. Episode 10 of season 2. And you guys will know right away that are tuning in and checking in. Assam versus Leary. Okay, it's the fight that we were teased in season 1, because the two of these guys finally had a little bit of an altercation in episode 10 of season 1. But season 2 Episode 10 was the finale, and that was a hell of a fight. So I got to talk to brettchan about this fight. I told him it was my favorite fight. I asked him as a precursor, hey, what are your favorite fights that you guys directed? He told me a bunch of them. You should watch the video to see what his favorites are if you're interested in that. I told him mine, and then I put it up on the screen and we talked about the fight. So I'm going to go ahead and play that guy back for you. Got to do fight commentary with brettchan. It was so fucking cool. So I want to share that.
I'm gonna bring it up really quick, and like maybe you can break it down just a little bit, some of the stuff, like some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, you can tell I'm giddy. I'm like a kid in a freaking candy store. So episode 10 is Man on the Wall for various reasons. And by the way, for those uninitiated, those who have not seen Warrior yet, available on Netflix, all 3 seasons. I think even on Max, you can still watch it. Shame on you if you've never seen it. I know a few people that even are near and dear that have just now seeing it. I envy you guys because you were able to watch from beginning to end with no interruptions. When we watched this live on TV, of course, we had to wait week to week. You guys can binge it. Props to you guys. But yeah, so when you get to this episode, yeah, I'm going to spoil this fight. But this is such a good, and again, if you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off now. If you're not up to season 2 yet, for whatever reason, or you haven't seen it, or you need a refresh, say you watched it. Turn it off if you haven't seen it, but turn it up. Turn the volume way up if you haven't seen this in a while.
And it's just the setup. Everyone was waiting for this. We knew it was coming, and it was teased so much. And you see the different styles. And to your point, you know, Dean's so much stockier. And, yeah. But at this time, Assam's really been just immersed in his training, and he's fighting completely different than he did in season 1.
And Dean was meant to be like a freight train.
Yeah.
Just coming through, right? And it's like...
Yeah, and the shit talking.
Are you going to fight?
Yeah, you're going to dance, you're going to fight. He's like, what's with all this kick shit?
I'm still kicking. I must be on Broadway.
Hey, come on with it, right? How long did this scene take to film?
We had 2 nights.
3 nights. Okay.
2 nights.
2. Only 2.
2 nights.
Okay.
But halfway through the first night, Koji got sick.
Oh no. Okay, so
there's another bomb he dropped on me, a little feather on my cap. That Koji was sick when they were filming this. So the guy who plays Leary and Koji who plays Assam, this fight scene, as you just heard, took 2 nights to film. Koji was sick while they were filming it. Have so much respect anyway for both of the actors, but more so now that I found out that Koji was sick while this was happening.
He was fighting sick.
So he was fighting sick, and this was like, it was freezing cold outside of the film. It was like, 5 degrees or 6 degrees. It was really cold.
Wow.
And it was nice. Yeah. And we were basically block shooting, so we were still kind of shooting the riot scene. We're shooting the riots all daytime and coming here to shoot this at nighttime.
So again, perspective on this. So if you're watching now and you haven't watched season 2 and you're really into Warrior, I'm sorry. I would say punch the stop button right now. But episode 10, there is a riot that also happens, and that I won't spoil why the riot happens, but that's also going on in the episode. So that's what Brett's talking about here.
Wow. Okay, that's a big testament, man. The dedication.
Koji was a machine.
This fight was so good and then you switch. It's like one guy will have the upper hand, and the next round another guy has the upper hand, and then it's just like they're pumping each other up. Dude, I love this fight, man. I'm
glad you see the idiosyncrasies of the time changing. I mean, I'm glad. I'm hoping that when I'm telling the story that people are seeing that.
Yeah, it's like, because this is really.
So it's such a great point that fighting is not just fighting. If it's done right in shows and movies, the fighting tells a story, because each character is not just a machine. They're fighting each other, but each person should have their own style and their way they look at things. And that's why the fights become almost personal. So to Brett's point, yeah, I definitely saw the transitions and things going on while they were building up this fight. It was a 3-round fight. Each person had their specific skills that they showed off. Some things worked, some things didn't. One person's more of a brawler, heavy-handed. One is more traditional martial artist. But the traditional martial artist, who is Andrew Koji's character, Assam, had adapted a lot since that first season, which you'll see. And because of that mentality, which he did not have in season 1, his season 2 fight was so much more just enjoyable to watch because he had to adapt as this fight went on. I think if the season 1 fighter had fought Leary in this season the same way, he would have either lost or would have been almost a draw because he wouldn't have been able to adapt as he was. So it's more of the Bruce Lee philosophy in this fight.
Like just at the end of this season, it's like the culmination of like Assam's whole evolution, right? And he's finally been able to take this guy on like he couldn't have really done it in season 1. And you're rooting. It's funny because you like, yeah, Leary's technically the bad guy, but you're rooting for both because you're like, they both got their own storylines and reason why they're so passionate, right? Because Leary's fighting for his people, Assam's fighting for his people. Yeah. So, and I just love this part because at this point, there's like no more fancy stuff. They're just punching. They're just going at it. It's a slugfest. It's like you're.
Yeah, this point in the fight, it's just no fanciness. It's like they're gassed out. I'm just hitting you, you're hitting me. I'm not even blocking the punches you're throwing. Let the best man win.
Going at it 100. I'm going at 100. I'm almost out of energy. You're almost out of energy. It's just so good. You're just There was literally a point where I thought for sure Assam was gonna win, but like, oh shit, he's gonna lose.
That's awesome. That's exactly how you want to see. Right there, like he's looking at his ass.
And that's when I was like, oh shit, is he gonna lose? I was like, all right. But even if he did, I would have been like, okay.
Legit, when I first watched the fight, I didn't know who the victor would be, and I wasn't gassing brettchan. I really the great part about interviewing him finally was it's like a super fan, which I am, finally talking to one of the producers, director, people responsible directly for the show. And I'm just talking to them like I would talk to one of my friends, like, oh my God, I like this part in the fight. This part, how did that happen? How did this happen? I'm not gassing him at all. I'm literally telling him what I felt at the time when I first watched it. So I took myself back in time and said, hey, these are all the emotions I felt as I watched this fight. And now I'm telling you what I felt. So now you can tell me what were you thinking when you guys were filming the fight. And that's why he's saying, oh, I'm so glad you could see the different levels to the fight and all that. Absolutely. So I'm geeking out, obviously, you can tell. And it was great. Again, love this experience. Always love meeting so many cool people from the Warrior cast, even the behind the scenes people, because these are truly the people that make things, that put things together, that really put it together. The cast members are great. The show people, the people that are in front of the cameras are amazing, but the behind the scenes people like brettchan, Johnny Yang, those people that really, get the talent together, put the fights together. These are the people we got to always remember to applaud.
I'm okay with it because even seeing this process.
It is Leary.
It's Leary. Leary's a badass. Was there a lot of doubling for this fight, or was it just
no, man?
Okay,
mostly them.
Okay,
yeah. The big double kick was a double.
Okay.
But no, it was pretty much mostly all them.
And so I love that part where Assam like kind of grounds himself. He's like, all right, there's this last part, and then he starts getting more technical, and he broke his wrist and everything, and then he just really focuses at that point. I love it. And like you're saying, this is like him, the pepperings, like this is back to like almost his old style, but like, meshing the two, and then the big old knee to the face is just.
So again, in the interview, you guys are going to have to watch for yourself when you see it on the channel. We talk about styles that brettchan and his team developed for each character, fighting styles. And specifically for Assam, he mentioned he wanted to be more JKD, Taekwondo, with a mix of Wing Chun, but also a mix of boxing and things like that Assam had integrated into his style within that year. That he had to kind of evolve his style, and you'll see why if you've never seen the show before, but good stuff.
Yeah. And then when you think, okay, this is the end, Larry's got to be like, nah, he still gets up because he's a G like that. He still got to get up and
stay in the fight. You can't stay down.
You can't stay down forever. And he's got it like his people are dependent on him.
Yeah. All the people are there.
And you come with the big finale. But I love this sequence here. There's the final sequence when, you know, this is like a song, really like the payoff, right? Because big shot to the heart. You're like, wow.
And that's ode to season 3 when you watch what happens when he fights the brothers.
Yes.
Not only ode to season 3, so when you guys watch season 3, this is ode to a Bruce Lee move. I didn't even get to bring this up in the interview. I was so ashamed because I was mad after we had talked about this. I know I was thinking it, but at the time I couldn't place the movie, so I couldn't even talk about it. This is ode to Bruce Lee Chinese connection. Technically, the real Chinese connection, because okay. When Bruce Lee's films came to America, they switched all the titles. Chinese Connection is really Fist of Fury, or really, I should say, Fist of Fury is really Chinese Connection, because when the movies came to America, what we know now as Fist of Fury was really called Chinese Connection. All right, Fist of Fury, aka Chinese Connection, was the first Bruce Lee movie that came to the States, that we were all introduced to him on film or movie film, because before, obviously after Green Hornet, but I go to say his first theatrical film, Lo Wei, Fist of Fury. He's the cousin of these people that work at this ice packing plant, and they discover that these people are really packing drugs in the ice and all this crap. So at the end of the movie, people get killed. Bruce has got to avenge all their deaths. That movie, there's a specific scene where Bruce has like a 3-pronged hit where it's block, punch, and that's really the homage in this fight. And I forgot to mention that, but that's you see this hit there.
And you come with the big finale. But I love this sequence here. There's the final sequence when,
this hit.
This is like a song, really like the payoff, right? Because
it's the 3-beat hit.
Big shot to the heart. You're like,
in Fist of Fury, there's a similar one where it's up block, punch low, up high again, punch high and go low, or something like that. And I wish I could show you guys, but that's really the homage. And I mentioned that, but just I wanted to put that down for the record for everybody.
Wow. And that's ode to season 3 when you watch what happens when he fights the brothers.
Yes. It's, and then the big shot here, because this is like, wow.
This is the only time it was doubled.
I figured this was a double, but it still looks so good. And it's a great.
So the big double kick at the end ends the fight. I'm going to call it here, because at this point, if you guys haven't watched Warrior, aka Warrior already, or have not at least watched my interview with brettchan, then go ahead and do both at this point. All right. So dropping that there. Yeah. Hats off on there. Anyway, what are you guys' comments, questions, comments, concerns? Have you guys watched Warrior? Are you fans? Are you not fans? Are you planning on watching it? All 3 seasons are available on Netflix. I will say this, we do talk about if there will be a season 4. And before you go telling me there's not going to be season 4, watch the interview, because we talk about some specific things. All right. And I don't want to spoil everything, because at that point you won't want to watch the video if I spoil it all here. All right. So go ahead and do that for yourselves. Checking in again tonight. Thank you all so much for checking in. Let's see here, guys. Yes. There's my sound effects. People watching, got a couple people in the chat. Let me know, guys, if you're new to the channel, if you've just jumped in, if you happen to be jumping on now in the chat, welcome. Let me know where you're from. Let me know how you found the channel. That'd be great to know. Things I'm just curious about with the audience. This is basically, this live serves almost as a welcome to you guys, that I don't know. Because obviously I've got almost 25,000 subscribers, which is not a huge channel. We're a small channel, but of course I don't know each and every one of you. I know some people because I've gotten emails from people on the side, and I'll get messages, and even on my Instagram and things like that. You guys can always hit me up on all of my socials. I link down below here, as you can see the banner running through it. So I want to reiterate that things that when things come up, uh or questions, as I say. If questions come up after you're watching a video of mine or after you're watching a live or something like that, and you want to give your feedback, we always appreciate it. And by me, yes, it's really me doing the majority of the work here, but I do push things around with friends of mine and fellow martial artists that are in my circle, so that I can get good feedback and pump out good material and good content for you guys. So if you got questions, comments, concerns, of course, please do feel free to just hit me up in the chat and let me know. All right. So that said, yes, my Brett Chan interview is live. I'm proud of that. Both parts are up there, part 1 and 2. I don't want to go, like I said, super long on tonight's live. We had a UFC yesterday. People that, if you're unfamiliar, if you're like just recently subscribed on the channel, I'm a big UFC guy as well, big fan of UFC. I try to at least go live every time there's a UFC. So that's one thing that I'll keep consistent. So, if you guys are UFC fans, let me know as well in the comments. I bet a ton of you are. But UFC 310 was yesterday. Okay. We had fights. We have some results. And I want to talk about them right now with you guys. All right. So let me do that here. We'll talk about the fights that went on last night, or at least I'll just throw some highlights in there. And you guys can let me know who you guys were betting on, if you were betting on, I mean, not even monetarily, but in your minds, if you're thinking of, oh, this person's beating this person and why. So the cards were good. I thought 309 was a better UFC all around, but 310 I enjoyed. The heavyweight fight, not so much, but I'm going to tell you this. The middleweights really ruled the night. You had Pantoja and Asakura. Okay. This fight, I've got to say, Asakura was a former Ryzen champ. Okay. It was his UFC debut yesterday. This guy came in as like almost fresh blood in the UFC scene. He showed up, but he didn't quite make the cut. All right. So Pantoja took him out, choked him out from behind in the second round, and it was lights out. But Asakura, I can see making a little noise down the line. I'm not sure how well he'll do, but he was pretty fierce. He went 2 rounds, so bless his heart, right? But he's definitely got some work to do. He's not he's new to the UFC scene, so I think that's a factor. Okay. Shavkat and Gary. Okay, this fight was done in 5 rounds, went the distance. Okay, it was a grinder from beginning to end. You had equal talent going up against each other. Another middleweight good fight. Bloody, in the sense that, yeah, not a ton of blood, but just meaning that it just knocked down, drag out, shoot 'em up kind of fight. My kind of fight. I love watching those fights that go the distance. I think it's cool when one person can dominate, but when you watch and you're getting hyped for a fight and then a person takes someone out in 20 seconds, it's like, oh, all that hoopla is gone, right? But Shavkat came in there, handled business. I was loving it. Third one I'll talk about is Mitchell. So Bryce Mitchell taking on Kron Gracie. Kron Gracie, now listen, Mitchell to me, I thought was going to take the fight. I wasn't surprised Mitchell took the fight, but I was expecting to see a little more from Gracie on the jiu-jitsu side. He's a little more skilled, but Mitchell just, he did his thing. And in the third round, forget about grappling, it was a knockout. So it was a big old knockout. Your face planted in the mat, and it was lights out. But good fight all in all. So let me know in the comments your guys' thoughts, who you guys were rooting for, who you guys were thinking about possibly to win all those matches. If you had some stakes involved, did you bet on the fights? If so, let me in on something, because maybe next time I'll consult you guys on who I should bet on. But yeah, UFC, we like to do recaps here if you're new to the channel. Every time there's a UFC, Next time we do 311, either I'm going to do it pre-fight, usually on Saturdays, or Sundays we'll do the recap. And in this case, like I said, I was late thinking about doing a live this week because I really wanted to just, if nothing else, this really wasn't about anything planned per se, but I wanted to talk to as many of my new subscribers specifically as possible. So welcome. If you've never been here before, I want to welcome everybody, give you guys a big old like hug and a kiss if I could, virtual hug and a kiss. All right, welcome to the Kung Fu Chronicle family. All right, you guys all are have some treats ahead of you guys. All right. And by that, I mean content. Got plenty of content coming your way. A lot of stuff you guys are going to like. So give it up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I promise you guys are really going to enjoy some of this. Yeah. And we try to make it live. All right. We try to make it live for you guys, meaning that we try to make this fun. So I want to include as many of you guys as I possibly can each week in these lives. And next time, and I think it's going to be next week. In fact, I know it's going to be next week. I'm going to do another live. I want you guys to chime in. I'm going to have a couple polls up so I can get some feedback from the audience. And you guys let me know specifically on content you guys want to see in the future. And also, I'm brainstorming a couple of things, and I want to know your thoughts on or ideas on these things. Are they good? Or are they bad? Are they good? Specifically, are they good for you? Are they things particularly that you guys would watch? Okay, so I'll start that polling next week. The majority of what I do, either how-to videos for martial arts, a lot of interviews. I've done a bunch. We're going to have one more interview, I should tell you right now. Just finished the brettchan one, just posted that one. One more interview before the end of the year. Working on that now. He's a traditional martial artist, so you're going to see him. Friend of the family. I'll say that now. By friend of the family, not someone that I personally know, but a friend of a friend. So hint there. Guy took some time out of his day. We chopped it up. Really good dude, really talented martial artist. And I'll give you another hint. He is also in the entertainment field. Okay. So once you see the interview, or actually as it gets closer to dropping in like the next 2 weeks, I'll give you more information. In fact, next week, I'll give you more information on who my next guest will be. And this time, actually, I'll tell you right away. It's going to be a 5 crucial questions for Kung Fu Master episode. The spotlight that you just saw with brettchan, I reserve those for the non-Kung Fu martial artists out there. Anyone that's in the martial arts, anyone that's in the Kung Fu vein, I use the title of the Kung Fu Master series. So my 5 crucial questions for Kung Fu Masters, I reserve those videos for my Kung Fu guys. Makes sense? Yes. So next week or next week, I'll give you further information on my new guest coming up for that. And that will be episode 20 of the series. So really proud of that. Really will be proud to cap off the year with that. All right. So I promise not to go too long, but of course I'm up here talking, and I can just one of those people I can just sit and talk, especially if people are going back and forth with me. So see a couple people up in the chat. I'll check the messages in just a couple seconds. Before I do that, though, the last 2 orders of business, and this is just more of a kind of a feeler thing. I got to put a feeler out there. So a few weeks ago, like a month ago, I was made aware of a video. Actually, it's one of the 90-day challenge videos. Okay, so for people that are familiar with the challenge accepted videos that Michelle Khare does, she's a girl who used to be on BuzzFeed. She started her channel years ago where she basically does challenges. So it's like, can I be an FBI agent in 90 days? Can I be a boxer in 90 days? Can I be a chef in 90 days? All these you fill in the blank, 90 days, et cetera, et cetera. She did a Taekwondo episode a few weeks ago. And everyone was like, hey, did you watch? In fact, I got a direct message from Master Simon Rhee, who I interviewed with him and his brother Philip from Best of the Best fame. Master Taekwondo guys, just super, super skilled guys. And hey, did you watch the video? I did not watch the video, so I watched the video. Did you like the video? I liked the video, but some questions came up because of the video. So I'm going to get you guys, we're going to talk about this for just a few minutes. I don't want to make this a big deal. And by the way, again, my socials are down here, so you can hit me up. Let me know your specific, if you have specific questions. But let's talk about this. So the challenge accepted video. I'm just going to put a little piece here so you guys can get the gist.
To perform for my black belt test, demonstrate 8 advanced techniques, 9 advanced forms, 5 punching defenses, 5 kick defenses, 2 bear hug defenses, 3 two-man punching defenses, 5 knife defenses, spar 3 black belts at the same time, break 3 boards in a row, and finally, break a brick with my bare hand.
Now, before I go in on this, I'm going to say, skill-wise, for someone who did this for 90 days, and I give you the whole synopsis on this, some of her stuff looked pretty good.
And finally,
her kicks in general, not bad.
Break a brick with my bare hand.
A lot of my students break their hand doing this.
If you want to see my full black belt test, subscribe to watch how I did. And that's...
Yes. So the video, as you can see, I trained like a black belt for 90 days. Michelle Khare, if you're a fan of Challenge Accepted, and most people, even if you're not, you at least know who she is. If you're not, go ahead and check out the page. I'm going to share the page in just a second so you guys can see. She's got millions of subscribers. She's almost at 5 million subscribers, so she's kind of a big deal. And by the way, I'm going to precurse this by saying, as I wrap up tonight's live, this is not a hate video on her at all. I respect everything that she does, especially as a content creator. If you watch her interviews and things that she said and her journey, it's pretty inspiring, as a matter of fact. And this is why she's even said in the particular video about her becoming a black belt for 90 days in the Taekwondo video, her main motivation and things for keeping going is the fact that she knows she inspires so many people, and she's gotten letters from people young and old on how her videos inspire people to do different things, because she does so many different things. So I commend that all around. But my question to you tonight is it a good idea, right or wrong, to become a black belt in 90 days? If you can become a black belt in 90 days, is that a good idea? I personally think, well, for me, no, because the martial arts that I've taken over the years, I think, and this is maybe being a little selfish, because everyone's journey is different. For me, it took many years to get my first black belt. The very first black belt that I got or attained was in 98. No, I'm sorry. I started Kung Fu because I had done other martial arts before Kung Fu, karate before that. But when I started my Kung Fu journey, traditional martial arts, I got my first black belt within 3 years. It took me 3 years to get my very first degree. Okay. So truncating or shrinking down that whole experience in 90 days, 3 months, what I had to learn in 3 years, almost feels like it devalues the art in a way. But at the same time, we know that this is a challenge. So we know there's a little bit of drama and all that at play. And by the way, I have the utmost respect for Master Simon Rhee. And as I told you, his brother Philip, they did an interview on the channel. So this is not even a butt-kissing thing for me. I have respect for people that teach and train in martial arts at a proficient level. And these guys are top notch. I'm just basically conveying some thoughts and things about this. When I first saw the video, by the way, production value is like sky high. It's like watching a TV show. Okay. It's like watching a reality based kind of show. Very well put together. The dramatic effect is great. You're involved, you're invested, you like the journey. Michelle talks, Michelle talks all about from day 1 to day 90, what she's got to do to attain this black belt. And whether she gets the black belt or not, I won't say tonight, because I think you guys should go ahead and watch the video on your own. I'll leave the link down below for that as well. And you let me know your thoughts on that. when you watch the complete video, don't just judge it by the title, because I think most traditional martial artists, or even just martial arts, people that have been involved in martial arts for a while, be like, oh, hell no, you shouldn't get a black belt in 90 days. Oh, that's some bullshit, whatever. But go ahead and watch the video first, and then go ahead and comment. Because when I went in with just kind of like fresh eyes and said, hey, I'm going to check this out. Entertainment value, great. Can you attain a black belt in 90 days? Subjective. Only because different arts require different things. Taekwondo, I've never trained in. I've trained in Kung Fu and Krav Maga. Done some kickboxing on the side, but that's the majority of my training. I will say for Kung Fu in 90 days, going to be a real hell of a task. I don't think you could do it in 90 days. From the form side to the fighting side, so much stuff involved. To give you guys perspective, when I got my first degree belt in 2001, then later along the line, 2013, I finally attained my master sash in Yingjiao Pai Kung Fu. That's a difference of 12 years between that span. Okay, so to like almost a mastery level, a lot of years involved in that. Now, I'll break it down even more basic. When I went for my first degree in Krav Maga, that was 4.5 years. Again, I don't think you can push. I don't think you can mash all those skills into a 3-month experience. But listen, the drive and determination, because when you see how much Michelle puts into her training and how basically she's training every day for hours a day, honestly, a lot of people that come into these martial arts, especially when they start, only put in about an hour to a week of training. That all said, things can be kind of, the perspectives are different. Personally, again, I think 90 days really won't cut it to be a black belt in most martial arts, hardcore martial arts that I know. Taekwondo, I'm not a specialist. Again, I'll say that again. But for the martial arts I've trained in, it's a hard no. That being said, I say that a lot, right? That being said, anyway, everyone has a crutch. So I'll put the stamp on the whole thing by saying, go ahead and watch. You guys let me know. I want to make this a discussion. I don't want to make this any sort of hateration at all. I think, the concept is great. And the fact that it even brings me to want to have a conversation about this is great. I've talked to some of my friends in the arts, and we've all talked about this. Everyone has different points of view. Some people are like, I don't take it that deep. People like me, I was like, I got to take it a little bit deep, because if it were my particular martial art, would I want that to be represented if I had the opportunity to do, let's say, this video with Michelle, and I were the instructor of, say, she wanted to learn Yingjiao Pai, would I be cool with her learning it if she could have done it in 90 days? And when I put myself in that position, I kind of think, I'm not feeling it in my head. But would I be open to allowing it to at least happen? Probably yes. And that said, I'll leave it on that note so you guys can chime in. All right. So drop that poll. You guys let me know. A lot of meat there on the bone. But I did want to bring it up to you guys. I feel like some of these things are worth a conversation. Last thing, we always want to leave it on a fun note. So knockout of the week. We do this every week. I'll feature a particular video. Sometimes they're viral, sometimes they're not. Knockouts that we see all over from near and far. Man, these people are doing things that, some people are just all about the hijinks. Some people are just, the fuckery just continues every week. Some people are just, out there effing around and finding out. Sometimes it's just a matter of just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sometimes it's a matter of being in a school and you might get punched or kicked in the wrong way. And in this case, I think that's exactly what we're going to see in our knockout of the week this week. All right. So let's go ahead and roll the tape, and then you guys let me know. Even as I watch that video, come on, son. Knockout of the week for a reason. That kick was supposed to go mid-level and went high. And for those people that love to kick like I do, and by the way, side kick is one of my favorite kicks, you can see why that went wrong. All right. So knockout of the week brought to you by I believe it's a Wing Chun school, brought somewhere near or far, somewhere near close by you. That school exists, and that's exactly why we wear headgear sometimes if you're going to hold pass for people that kick very well. But again, I would play the Chris Rock "You Got Knocked the F Out" video at this portion, but the guy didn't really mean to do it. Okay, brought to you again by a kung fu school near you, or maybe far from you, doesn't matter. Knockout of the week, yes. Give it up. Can't make that up. Shout out to the pad holder. I know that's tough because things do happen and accidents do happen. You are the man, my friend. All right. Once again, thanks all for checking in tonight. Gonna wrap it up there. All right. Went through a whole lot tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. Been a minute since I've been live with you guys. A lot of fun. You guys let me know in the comments if you're feeling it. If you're I hope you're loving it. And if you're not loving it, why you're not loving it? Why aren't you loving my lives? We'll be back again within the next week or so, and we're going to wrap it up right before the holidays. We're going to have a special live, all right? Thanks again to all the people that recently subscribed to the channel. Love you guys. Mucho, mucho, mucho. All right?
Don't just stand there, like and subscribe.
Got to say that because without the subscribers, we can't keep building. So don't just like, share, comment, but of course,
Don't just stand there, like and subscribe.
please do, because it helps me so much, obviously, with the growth and also the algorithm. And again, guys, want to wish you guys a great rest of your night, great week coming up. And guys, as always, stay safe. See you in the next round. Keep punching.